Larry Klayman, special prosecutor, coming to you today with our latest podcast, up-to-date analysis of what's going on with regard to the impeachment trial of President Donald J. Trump. Of course, it's being presided upon by the Chief Justice of the United States, someone who is highly politicized, who's a closet leftist Democrat. He's proven that time in and time out, flipping on Obamacare at the 12th hour, telling the president who he hates that all judges act without bias and prejudice, that they're all independent, that they're all ethical and above the law. In fact, years ago, he had a report which he issued for the Supreme Court, the annual report, where he said that Supreme Court justices were not subject to the rules of ethics as a matter of the Constitution, and in any event, since they were confirmed by the Senate, they're above reproach. This guy lives in a virtual dream world. He is part and parcel to the corruption in Washington, D.C., the swamp, and yet he sits upon the fate of the President of the United States to continue in office. And just yesterday, or perhaps it was the day before, it was Senator Rand Paul who asked to be able to disclose the name of the whistleblower that Adam Shifty Schiff has been working with, covering up, that came forward with a false complaint against the president, which played a large part in triggering this impeachment and conviction trial. And of course, Roberts, protecting the Democrats, protecting Schiff, he denied that request. In addition, days before that, it was the Democrat managers, the impeachment managers, who were disparaging and acting in a disrespectful and unethical way towards the Republican legal counsel. And yet he found it in his heart, his leftist Democrat heart, to admonish both sides. This is not what we need as a Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. What we need is someone who's above reproach, who is not politicized, who isn't worried about his own skin. You know, there have been rumors about Roberts for years throughout Washington with regard to his lifestyle. I'm not saying that's true. I'm not saying it's untrue. But is he afraid that the intelligence deep state, which favors the Democrats, the people involved like James Clapper, the former intelligence czar of Barack Obama, John Brennan, that vile intelligence czar of Barack Obama as well, what do they have on Roberts? And why is he sitting upon this impeachment trial without exercising his authority? What he should be doing right now, given the presentations and the evidence that's been put forth by the lawyers of the president, is exercising his judicial role and dismissing this impeachment before it even gets in terms of a vote or goes further. There has not been alleged violations of high crimes and misdemeanors such that you can even have an impeachment trial. And that's the role of the judge. If everything's clear in terms of the facts and the way the impeachment articles were prepared, he has the authority to dismiss it. But he won't do that, because I believe this guy has been blackmailed by the intelligence deep state, and he's owned by them. You know, he also hates the president of the United States. The president rightly made a comment several months ago when an ultra-leftist judge in San Francisco, a federal judge by the name of John Tiger, his father is Michael Tiger. I've encountered him in bar proceedings in Washington, D.C. Michael Tiger is an avowed communist. He was one of the early clerks to Justice William Brennan. He was fired at the direction of J. Edgar Hoover and also the direction of the Chief Justice at the time, Earl Warren, because he is a communist. He's a subversive. I have copies of him with Ramon Castro, pictures, also thank you letters from Fidel Castro, effusive thank you letters. This guy's bad news. He recently wrote a book where he extols the virtues of communist, anti-capitalist law. Now, his son, John Tiger, who's a chip off the old block, apparently, enjoined the president's immigration policies with regard to claiming asylum falsely to get into this country. And in so doing, the president said, well, this is what one can expect from an Obama-appointed judge. Absolutely correct. They rule consistently against him on everything. They're leftists. That's what they do. They don't follow the law or the Constitution. They do what they want. They have life tenure. They think they have immunity. So what the heck? We'll let it rip. We'll do whatever we want. I've seen this time and time out in the federal courts, which is why I try to file cases in state court now, not in federal court, because they're so politicized. But the Chief Justice came back and severely criticized the president. He says, oh, we don't have Obama judges. We don't have Clinton judges. We don't have Bush judges. We're all independent. We're above reproach. Well, what world does this Chief Justice live in? You know, he lives in a world of his Democratic leftist inclination, his closet inclinations, and he's frightened of his shadow that somehow his lifestyle is going to be exposed someday, or perhaps something else. This is the person who should be subject to an impeachment trial, not the President of the United States. We need a new Chief Justice, someone who truly is independent, someone who is unafraid, someone who is not owned by the leftist deep state. And that's my message for today. And, you know, going back to 1994, that's why I founded Judicial Watch, to watch judges. I later used judges to try to watch the other two branches of government and to take action to prosecute government corruption and abuse. But in the federal court today, that's no longer possible because it's so politicized. Even the new Trump judges are afraid of their shadow. That's how bad things are in this country. It's a judicial inquisition. So that is my message. Please go to freedomwatchusa.org. Join our Justice League. We are bringing hard-hitting citizens' grand juries, hard-hitting cases. We don't just get documents. We actually use those documents to bring about justice, as I did when I founded and ran Judicial Watch. Judicial Watch today just mostly gets documents. What good are documents if you don't use them to bring hard-hitting, complex litigation and citizens' grand juries to try to indict individuals and then indict them and try them, convict them and sentence them for their crimes? Because we have no Justice Department. Our Attorney General does not represent the American people. He represents himself. He represents others in the Republican establishment. He's had a chance to indict Comey, Andrew McCabe, Brennan, Clapper, the rest of them. What has he done? He's put his head in the sand. He talks big. He has leaks. Oh, yeah, we're going to get this done, but it never gets done. So go to freedomwatchusa.org. Support us. We're the mouse that roared. We need to get bigger. We need your financial support. We need your prayers. We want you to be part of this citizens' army, peacefully and legally. And I want you to share this podcast every day and the radio show. You can find it at freedomwatchusa.org, posted. Also at radioamerica.com. We thank Radio America for allowing me to tell the truth each day. And you can find it at iTunes, Spotify, and Patreon. We need to educate the American people. We need to rise up peacefully and legally and wage a new revolution. We are in a revolutionary state. Our government does not represent us. We, the people, we must step up and represent ourselves strongly, peacefully, and legally. So go to freedomwatchusa.org. Contribute to our cause. Until then, and I will talk to you tomorrow, God bless you. God bless your family. God save America. And thank you for listening to me.